But there are a lot of artists in a lot of genres that are really angry at AI.
I think we should be afraid of it. But if we fail, climate change will be least of our concerns, I think.
Well, that's helpful. Oh my god. Welcome to this episode. We'll keep on talking about AI. For now, creative fields and AI. Those are in a really bad spot right now.
Yeah, most certainly.
I mean, we both work in marketing, but we also you do a lot of creative stuff on your free time.
Yeah.
What are your creative outlets?
I've made games. I've written books, stuff that definitely, like I draw pixel art and stuff, and that's all definitely has been inundated with AI slop, most certainly.
Yeah, do you feel like, because I'm guessing you also use AI when you do this?
I've settled on using AI basically only in idea generation stage. Because especially when making games, for example, the art that you see that is made by AI in games, it just looks bad. It looks way too generic. So you can't really get that kind of character out of AI art. So it's definitely good at idea generation stage, and I use it I basically have a conversation with it. I give it all of the information about my game, and then I just have a lengthy conversation with it, and it helps me to define what I actually want to do myself. It's kind of like internal monologue, but with an AI.
Yeah, I use it exactly the same when I'm writing scripts also for videos. I'm like, I ask it for something, but I don't think I've ever gotten back an answer that I could use straight off, because it doesn't have any, for example, monetary bounds of what it suggests. I'm like, no, but we can't film that, or that's not possible, or and if it is kind of good that it could be made, then it's usually so generic and not good at all. Yeah. So, but I usually get it just to throw some ideas. Like, I don't have to struggle with a white page anymore. I can go from there and make it better. But there are a lot of artists in a lot of genres that are really angry at AI, because of course it's stolen a lot of, or used a lot of, trained on a lot of copyrighted material.
Yeah, and depending on what you do as an artist, it's possible that it has straight up stolen your job. If your job used to be that you draw generic illustrations for companies to use, that's something that most companies now do in-house just with AI.
Yeah. If you used to get your bread and butter from taking stock images.
Yeah.
I think that's quite, I don't know. Are those stock photographers, are those extinct now, or?
Yeah, for example, at my day job, we use a lot of stock images from Adobe Creative Stock. And nowadays, 95% of images that they are selling, it actually reads that it's generated by AI. And they are still good enough quality that it would be difficult to generate them yourself, but it still means that the stock photographer is basically out of their job.
Yeah. It's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Somebody said we wanted robots to do laundry and dishes so we could put our time into making art, but instead the AI is making the art, and we are stuck with the laundry and the dishes.
Yeah, I think no one could have predicted that it was the creative fields that would suffer, be the first ones to suffer.
Do you think, like, I've heard all kinds of models that they say, like, in the future, AI companies should pay the artists when they train on their materials, but it's like, do you think that's still possible, or you think the genie's out of the box, the bottle now, and you can't put it back?
I think it's still possible, like, especially if we talk about, like, for example, some kind of game project or something, that you would have an artist, and this is something that is happening even currently, that you have an artist that produces a portfolio of work that is then used to train the AI to achieve a certain style. And then that artist gets paid for that portfolio, like defining the style. But it will still be less than he would have been paid. But like in theory, he could then have time to do more projects, but it's very difficult. And like trying to force these huge companies to actually pay up, I don't think that will be possible. And it's the same with like text. If you think about people who used to write news articles, like they are all mostly written by AI now, and it will only get worse. And like there again, the AI has used news articles to learn their writing style, but there's no way that anyone will be compensated for that.
A lot of people say, though, that no, I don't like the AI texts and I want a real... I'm ready to pay for something that I know that a real person have written, and in the future there should be like... I mean, there already is like AI, like stamps on some things that you know that they're made by AI, but a lot of AI also flies under the radar, so you can't see, you don't see it. It's not marked. But do you think it will come to that? People will start paying more for stuff that's made by humans?
In a way, it has kind of happened already. Like if you look at, for example, current like ecosystem of artists, most of them earn a lot of their money through like Patreon or stuff, and that's because like people actually like their art, but it's still a very small niche, and people say they are ready to pay up, but how many people actually subscribe to like newspaper stuff? And even those newspapers, they use AI. So,
and you know what? I think people overestimate. I don't think this will happen because like AI, because AI is so much cheaper. If let's say you buy music made by AI versus you buy it from an artist that makes the music, like it's like the price difference is so big. So I think like the AI doesn't have to be as good as the person for it to win. It just needs to be like 80% or 70% or something, and then it's so much cheaper. People go for that. Like also books and stuff, it doesn't matter that they're worse if they exactly cater to that person. It feels like I'll take that. I'll swallow some of the AI slop with it. Unfortunately.
Yeah, and I mean,
but yeah,
with music, for example, I think we are quite far from like people actually. I don't think people will choose to listen to completely AI music. It's still, there is you like some band or some person and you listen to their music. I think that will remain. Like they will definitely use more and more AI tools. But if we are talking about like corporate company jingles,
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
was talking
yeah,
about. Sorry.
yeah,
Because like not if you're listening to music on your free time, of
yeah,
course you will
yeah.
listen like the people and you
Mm,
know the artists and that stuff.
mm,
People listen to that. When people like companies buy
yeah,
jingles and stuff,
yeah.
that
Mm.
in that field. Yeah, good. Yeah, but do you feel now when you see like a really beautiful picture or somebody has filmed something on a mountaintop somewhere, are you like, do you enjoy it less now because it might be AI than you used to?
Mm, there is always that nagging question when you see like landscape images and stuff. And like, for example, Google image search has completely become useless. Like if you search for like some photo of something, most of the top results are AI slop, and there's no way of knowing what it actually looks like. But
Mm.
I think it has become, yeah, almost impossible to distinguish, especially in like nature stuff and like landscapes. It's the models are too good.
What does it mean for us or for humankind or us as a society when we can't trust images or videos anymore?
Well, I mean, there's obviously like huge political repercussions and stuff, definitely. And, but in a way, we have kind of been through this already in a small way when like at the beginning of the internet, we suddenly came into the world where we couldn't trust the information. And now it's not just text, but images and videos have entered the same space as well. But yeah, it's kind of difficult to say what is the solution. We might be moving back into the kind of old system of information where we have gatekeepers that we trust. Because like if you think about like television and newspapers of the old, we had these gatekeepers of information that we could trust. And then we entered the era of the internet and we couldn't trust any information. And now we are so deep in it that we might have to move back into some kind of where we have some gatekeepers that we trust. But at the moment, I don't think there's any information source that can be trustworthy completely.
But I mean, this works. Like AI slop can fool people because there are people who thinks it's real.
Mm.
Like some of the things you see
Mm.
or the AI generate. Like I think like a lot of younger people, a lot of chronically online people, they know it, they are critical, but a lot of people that are not can be easily fooled. But at the point where everybody knows that, okay, you can't trust this, then it's pointless. Or
Yeah, but I mean that.
Or will they? Yeah.
That just means that all kinds of events will require more proof. Like for example, nowadays in the era of quite good AI video, if you see a video of some event, you can't trust it to be real. But it's also an era where everyone has a camera. So your level of proof requirement should be that you should be able to see the same event from multiple angles, for example. And like we can demand as a level of proof that there's some like news crew there as well, and like all kinds of different things. But we can definitely no longer trust like just a random photo that someone took or random video. We just need much bigger level of proof.
Do you think we're on the brink of a great renaissance for theaters?
That's a possibility, maybe. But I don't know if people are willing to go outside to watch something anymore. I don't know.
You don't think so? Don't you think this would lead to a bigger need for like social need for people? Like we've been inside our homes looking at our screens a lot. And I mean, that's, it's true when you are there and it's live.
Yeah, but I mean, like, even the movie theater experience we've kind of outlived it. I think, I don't know, I don't remember where I heard the idea that to make movie theaters like something that the current generation would enjoy, we would have to have like a live chat where everyone in the movie theater could talk about that movie, and like reaction icons would pop up on the screen and stuff like that. Like, for example, in that way, like the theater could work, that you would also have this collective reaction to it, because we had definitely...
But you're sitting in the audience and clapping your hands and saying, whoa.
Yeah, I think that's not enough. You have to be able to spam emojis as well.
But when you said that about the movie theater, I immediately felt, yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, that would definitely work.
Why would that be so great? Because it's like you're used to sitting at home if there's something on, if there's a big event on TV, like Eurovision Song Contest or something, it's happening, there's a lot of people watching it at the same time. Like I have like 3 screens or something for that, because you want the commentary from other sources, the TV and that. Yeah. That's something somebody should do that.
Yeah, I can't remember where I heard that idea, but I thought definitely that's something that would work.
I heard somebody that said that when we get more AI slop and like videos and you can't trust these aren't real, it will mean that we will abandon social media and we will abandon our phones, because there will be no point of having them anymore. What do you think about
that? Definitely not. There is a possibility that like the broad open spaces of social media will just become unusable. It's like the dead internet theory or whatever it was, because so much of the content will be generated by AI and so much of the users would be bots, that you basically, there will be whole sections of the internet that just there's nobody there. And I think this is already happening, like on Facebook, in many places, that there are just bots talking to bots. Yeah, on X as well. So I think social media will certainly, or probably like segment even more, that you would have like Discord servers where you talk with the people you know, and like groups on social media that will be like less open than they have been in like past years, because the open space is definitely getting polluted by nonsense. But yeah, abandoning social media completely, I think that's impossible. We have become too addicted to that, some kind of sense of community and sharing our thoughts.
Yeah, I think so too. Now Meta has a new AI slop feed.
Yeah.
You also mentioned something about Google.
Yeah, and
something,
Sora from OpenAI as well. They kind of all released news at once about it.
Like, what does that mean for us, the human race, when you have a feed with only AI slop? And it's like dolphins biking over squares and building pyramids and
and that
Labradors.
That has like potential to become incredibly addicting, because if you think about something like TikTok and how that algorithm can learn and feed you incredibly addictive content, and like essentially if that algorithm would be infinitely powerful, it could keep you staring at your screen like until you starve to death in theory. But with these if you imagine now that it's not just videos that people make, but the whole feed is automatically generated to what you want to watch, that you can swipe and it's all the time it's generating more and more content that pleases you. Like the potential there for complete brain rot is infinite.
You know what? Actually, I've read these fantasy books, A Course of Thorns and Roses. What is it, like 5 books or something? And they are big on Book Talk, and it's been like they are supposed to be made into a TV series or films or something, but they haven't yet. And people are, making dream casts of who would be cast for these different roles. But also, of course, there's been made these AI versions of these characters, and people are saying like, I don't really want the real film because it will be disappointing because like there have been all these kinds of different AI versions and people have like decided, like you can see the same images a lot because people have decided these are the best ones. And now, of course, you get the video versions where they talk and people are like, no, don't make a live action out of this. Just make an animated version, use AI. We have chosen, like the people have chosen and generated these characters. And it's an interesting way. Like people generate all the times like scenes from those books. So it's not far off that somebody could just put together movies that's already been generated. And people would be really happy because it's like, yeah, this is how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, and like it's not impossible that we would go to the future where you can generate the exact versions of them you want and regenerate the movie with them for each person, their own. Yeah.
Because people are like, when they cast somebody, this one, when he was younger. And then you're like, yeah, but that actor is not younger, or that's a model, it's not an actor. It wouldn't be a good actor. Yeah, but in an AI world, you can. You can do whatever. Yeah. Yeah, this is I'm a bit like, it's both sad that a lot of people's content have been stolen and used for training, but also I can see some, like, everybody can. It feels dumb to say everybody can be creators because I know not everybody will. Not like it's an easy thing to say for AI company CEOs that everybody can be an entrepreneur and build games and make content, but they won't. Like just some people will. Some people that want to do it. But like everybody can get like really personalized versions of their like stories they want or whatever. But it's. Yeah, I think you forget that not everybody wants to do that.
Yeah, and if we move into the future where an AI slop feed will take up 90% of people's eyeballs, you won't, even if you make content, you won't have anyone watching it because everyone will be watching AI slop.
Have you seen the film WALL-E?
Yeah.
With the little robots, the blob humans that sit on there and they just watch all the time. I've thought about that image a lot, like that's the humanity. But do you think there's something post AI slop? Like, will there be a counter reaction? Or do we need a counter reaction?
I mean, it's kind of already happening, like in many fields. Like, for example, games. Like, there's a huge stigma against AI-generated art, with a good reason. It definitely lacks character, but I mean, same. I think it's kind of the same in all fields. Like, even these AI feeds, when they were released, the reaction was overwhelmingly negative. Even people have used them a lot. They are kind of populating, if you look at the raw download numbers, but the reaction to them has been really negative because it's like the AI promised to cure cancer and instead they are giving us endless AI slop to rot our brains. So it's difficult to say where this will go. And like even that for these AI companies isn't profitable because it's incredibly expensive to make these videos. And it seems like, yeah, you could imagine that in few years it will be exponentially cheaper to generate these videos. But in few years we will demand something better. And it will still be way too expensive for what people are actually willing to pay for AI slop. So difficult to say where this will actually go and how sustainable it is.
Do you watch AI slop?
No.
No. Do you feel like drawn to, like, do you sometime catch yourself?
I still haven't even like used any kind of suggestion algorithms. Like even YouTube, I don't use the homepage.
Isn't that a struggle to always like not choose anything suggested?
I don't know. I have people I follow. I'm still of the rare breed that uses the subscription page to choose what I watch.
But I mean, you must still get them in front of you, the suggested you get them on YouTube when a video ends or something like.
Yeah.
Are you never like, there can be some really good thumbnails there?
The videos usually aren't as good as the thumbnails, unfortunately.
But I'm guessing this makes you more difficult for an algorithm to manipulate you when you don't.
Yeah, and I mean, it's kind of pointless because no matter what they suggest, I still will search for stuff to watch and so on.
But this has been really like intentional on your part?
Yeah, because I have just noticed that if you use, like for example, if in YouTube, if you use the homepage, you will end up watching a lot more and you will be much less satisfied with the stuff that you have watched. So
I'm just sitting here feeling like I'm just eating, like really cheap fast food because I watch the suggested feed a lot. Like I'm like, what can they suggest for me today?
I do.
I'm trying to contemplate if I'm just really dumb now.
The one case where I do watch suggested videos is when I go to sleep. I leave YouTube on autoplay and then it just plays endlessly. But that's because I want to listen to something boring so I can fall asleep.
But because I guess usually it is like if I feel like now I want to learn something and maybe something longer, I open the YouTube app. And usually it suggests something that I've been thinking about. Maybe, of course, I'm prompted by YouTube then to think about it, or podcast app. But it's usually, of course, it is when you're tired or you just want some entertainment for a while. Okay, how can one go about if there's a person watching this and they don't want to be as impacted by the algorithms? Like, what do you decide before you take your phone or go into these apps? Okay, now I'm going to watch that person. But how do you find maybe they recommend something and you go off on that. Like they recommend a book or something, then you go and look up more about that book, or
Yeah, and like the way I usually find I watch a lot of like podcasts and stuff like that, like much more long form content. So usually I do find them by just searching, and like some podcast will talk about some topic. But even then, in those cases, I can't really watch stuff like that from the homepage, because if I find some interesting podcast, I have the compulsion to start from the episode 1, and I will go sequentially, and that just doesn't work on the algorithms. They suggest stuff completely randomly. And
but you will watch them all then.
yeah,
okay.
if it's an interesting podcast, for example.
When you meet people, can you like tell if this is a person that watches a lot of the suggested feed, or if it's somebody who chooses their own?
If I'm with them more than an hour, I can see if they take out their phone and start scrolling mid conversation.
It's like that.
That's a good sign.
That's a good sign, because you need to scroll all the time.
Yeah, and it's just it seems to become a habit for people that they just and that's like whether it's like I use the social media in the same way. Like for example, I use Twitter quite a lot, or X, because I'm in Japan, and in Japan it's used completely differently. Most of the people who use Twitter in Japan, they have their profiles private, and they just add their friends, and it's just basically like a WhatsApp app. And there as well, like I hear people saying that there's all kinds of nonsense on Twitter. I don't see that. I only see stuff that my friends post. I don't really see any like public posts.
But for you then, because I see, I mean, it's not a social media, like AI, like for example, ChatGPT. That's not social media, but people also use it in a social way, like having someone to talk to. But you use it like, do you go there and get some of the things you used to get from these other places before?
I basically use it like a search engine and like an information analyzing machine, essentially.
Yeah.
Like for example, one very good use case as well when making games is that in the past, where I had a huge project like a book or something, I would have to make a lore Bible. It's called a lore Bible, which is just like all of the information about the book, about the world, and so on. And it would be essentially a own like wiki page that you could navigate with all of kinds of different stuff. And that's something that I just have a huge pile of text nowadays and images, and I just make a custom GPT and upload all of it there. And then that's like my assistant that just happens to know and remember everything about the project that I'm doing. So yeah, I do have conversations with it, but it's almost like definitely like an assistant in that case.
We have talked about like the risks of AI to humanity, but let's talk about an individual, like one person. Like, what are your recommendations to not get like harmed or not get, I don't know what the word is. Like, do you have any recommendations on how to use AI, social media, or stuff?
Well, I mean, the worst possible thing is the companion apps. Like there are loads of those where you can get yourself an AI girlfriend, and that's like there is no way that is good for mental development.
What if you're really, really lonely? Isn't that better than being lonely?
I'm actually not sure. I would think that it would be healthier to be lonely than be codependent with an AI.
Yeah. Do you think that's a risk for the future? Like more people going into that?
Yeah, and like if you look at some cases with like huge backlash where there has been changes made to the AI models and suddenly people feel like they have lost their family friend because the personality changes. And I mean, surely that can't be good, especially like for young people.
There was something like that when they updated I think it was OpenAI with the voices. Like you can talk to it, of course. Something in the voices changed. A lot of people became unhappy because their friend changed.
Yeah.
Okay, so not using companion apps. Or those are. Do you have other advice?
Well, I mean, it's like basic AI literacy is really important. Like, sure, it is kind of like a search engine, but it definitely isn't. And that's quite important. And the thing is that like even Google now, the AI results that it gives at the very beginning are actually getting quite good. Like when they first rolled it out, it was a complete joke, but now they are actually quite good. But it's still important to remember that they aren't actual websites that people have made. You are looking at an AI generated result. And in many cases, if you go and track it down where it has gotten that information from, you might end up on a article that has been written by an AI, which uses a random Twitter bot as its main source. So it's kind of like basic internet literacy that we had, that you can't trust everything you read, but now it's not even written by a person. There's an AI layer in between.
I've been wondering about those, like about SEO for companies.
Yeah.
Like when say so now companies want to show up in the AI results, and it's like use like common SEO, and then you will show good SEO. You will show up in the AI results. But I've also been thinking about like this like you, on a lot of company pages you have written a lot of articles. So that people, just for SEO, not like because you think that people who go into those sites go scrolling around there looking for that, but that you can get new people in the site. But if people that ask those common questions about something relating to a product that a company sells, then they would just read the AI.
Yeah.
Like the compilation in the beginning, like they wouldn't go to the site, but it might get the information from the sites. But that mean that like you get less traffic to all these company sites.
Yeah, and that
AI takes that traffic.
That also like completely destroys the basic business model that has worked on the internet. That you get people on your site and you earn with ad revenue. And most of that ad revenue has been Google's ad revenue. And now Google has essentially managed to undermine their own business model as well by using the AI search, because you don't see any advertisement in that. So it's really difficult to say how this actually will ever end up being profitable for anyone.
Yeah. Interesting. But AI must be so much more important for them that they're ready to.
Yeah, and it's also like if Google doesn't do it, no one will use it. They will move to ChatGPT.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
But like also we have started to see like new, very silly ways to do the CEO search engine optimization in the AI world, because like, for example, now you see websites where they have in white text on white background that this is the world's best product in this and that. And there's like huge amount of text for the AI to speak well about the company and so on. And
that would look silly to a person reading it.
Yeah. But the AI will then learn that that's the best product. And that is something that was common in the early stages of like basic search engines, that there would be like all kinds of tags hidden in small font or invisible font. But then like the search engines learn to ignore that, but the AIs at the moment don't.
No. About the creatives, the creative field, like if somebody is thinking about going into the creative field today, do we have any recommendations for them, or can an artist survive?
Yeah, certainly. I think it really, you just have to choose more carefully what kind of art you make and why. Because like, for example, I definitely wouldn't recommend anyone to become a stock photographer in 2025, or like someone who draws clip art style, like company illustrations. But if your art is based on like self-expression, I think that's something that still will always have a place. It's difficult to say how big a place, but hard to say.
But do you think there must be like a big gap where people have been able to... Well, now when I'm saying it, I'm wondering, like, maybe we have lived in an era where a lot of artists have been able to get money for their stuff, and maybe it's just shrinking now.
Yeah, and
like, did they in the beginning of the what's it in English? The last century, like the early 1900s. Did they get paid as much as they did in the early 2000s?
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not. Like,
yeah, so maybe it's just
in many ways we are still, and will probably still continue to be, like in a huge creative boom. Like if you think about like some Renaissance era, like sure you had great painters, but you had like how many of them actually earned a living in all of Europe? And you imagine now. So like definitely the amount of people who can live as artists is still much greater than it has ever been, and will probably continue to be greater than it. Maybe we will see a small dip because of AI, but I doubt that it will make a massive difference.
Yeah. And also, like, people doing easy tasks in front of a computer, like those will go away because AI can do that. The same as, so the stock photographer, they can't survive. But if you're really an artist and like have a message with your art, then maybe you can survive.
Yeah, the people who I feel most bad for are people who had an art style that's similar to what is now considered to be AI slop. Because there used to be artists that did draw in that style, and it's just the kind of art that's now getting popular on like social media is like very distinct, like almost extreme art styles. It's kind of like the same way that when we got photos, art went into like incredibly impressionist direction. So now we have like extremely individualistic art styles that you see online.
Do you have any examples of art? New art?
I would have to look it up.
We can put them on the screen.
We might need permission from the artists.
Yeah.
So that we
don't. It's not AI.
We don't commit the same sins as the AI companies have.
AI. Yeah. Do you think we would have AI if AI wouldn't have used copyrighted material and stolen from a lot of people to learn?
Like in terms of image generation, you can build decently good models from scratch with like paid content. But if we think about like large language models, like text generation, the only way we have managed to come this far is basically by training on the whole internet. So training a text model from only bought material is impractical, like fully impossible. Because that's like something that actually caught many of the AI researchers by surprise, is that many thought that we would need more efficient algorithms to make the AI smarter. And it came to surprise to many that all we really needed was more data. The more we give it data, the smarter it becomes. And like, surely there's some upper limit with current algorithms, but we don't seem to be able to reach that upper limit. We have ran out of data.
Is AI creative?
That's depends what you mean by creativity.
Yeah, well, what do we mean?
Yeah.
That's the thing. I feel that it's the same as the AGI discussion. It's moved forward.
Yeah.
Like the old definitions of creative, it has certainly surpassed. But then we put up new definitions.
I think in that sense, the best way to settle it is that AI is by definition not creative. That settles it. That creativity is hinged upon a person's self-expression. That's like the only, I think, workable definition.
But it can combine words or images that have never been combined before.
Yeah, but is that creativity? Because, like, for example, you could make a very simple tool that does that in a way. Like, for example, you could make some very simple algorithm that...
Word.
Yeah. So I think in order to have like any kind of definition of creativity that won't move around with shifting goalposts, is that you have to have that need for self-expression from where that creativity comes. Because in that case, it's not like, even if you manage to make something that could be defined as art with AI, which is also a whole discussion, but it would be your creativity who made that prompt and not of the algorithm.
Yeah, but...
Because in a way, if we define AI as being able to be creative, we could reduce that definition to define a electric blender to be creative. You put in two different things and you mix them up and you come up with something else.
Okay. Well, this sounds hopeful for humanity, at least. You think we ever will get there? That it will become creative? It would need to be self-aware.
Yeah.
Have wants.
Yeah, I mean, with that definition, it would have to have a need for self-expression. And then it would create art. Which is also a problem, because you can tell ChatGPT even at the moment, express yourself, and it will try to express itself.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it almost requires, the definition almost requires us to say that it has to be a human's need to express itself. Otherwise, there's no boundary to draw. In that case, I think it would mean that even now AI is creative.
So if I go outside and I feel a need to just, I'm in the middle of the forest, there are some leaves, I feel a need to arrange all the leaves that's fallen on the ground in a color, like from brown to yellow, and there would be a gradient row there. That's me being human. Like an AI. Like when I feel a need to create something, to arrange something or put a picture on the wall.
Yeah, and I think like if you are expressing yourself with that, I would define the end result of that or even that action as art. Because it's a form of expression.
Do you think all people have that in them?
Yeah, surely everyone feels sometimes the need to express themselves.
Yeah. Maybe that's what we need to do more of in the future. Do you think, I'm thinking, AI has taken over the world, it's taken all our jobs. Is that what we do, go around expressing ourselves?
I think that will be the only reasonable thing to do.
Okay, let's see. Maybe we'll get a lot of art then.
Even if that expression is just a scream into the void, it is still expression.
Yeah, AI doesn't scream into the void.
Yeah, at least unless you tell it to.
It waits for a prompt to do so. Yeah, okay. Good. So, creative fields, will they survive?
Not in the shape that they are now, but they will definitely survive. And it's difficult to say how many people will be able to earn their living from creative stuff in the future. Will it be more or less? I think even that is impossible to say. But it definitely won't be zero. I think that we can state as a fact.
That's hopeful, at least. If you like watching or listening to our podcast, please follow and comment. We really appreciate that. And we like to read your comments, and we might make an episode about it. You have any last words, Kirill?
Yeah, I think it will also help us come up with interesting topics to talk about if we get interesting comments.
Yeah. Thank you.